Hey guys, this is Pharaoh 2091 and welcome back to Let's Play 999. Last time we left off, we learned a terrible truth that the girl that died in the last Notary game, her name was Akane Kurashiki. Is it the girl that we grew up with? I mean, the name is the name, and it was Santa's sister. So, I don't know. And it turns out that Ace, or Guntaro Hanga, really is an evil bastard. Now, we already knew this, but he really is evil. And we got through the Zero study. We're here right here in the incinerator. He tried escaping just now, but as he pulled the lever, he got a noise that we all weren't expecting. What? What? Why is it opening? Lois tried to take advantage of Ace's confusion and managed to twist herself out of his grasp, but at the last second, he grabbed hold of her wrist and shoved it onto the red. He waved the number 9 bracelet over the red and then his own bracelet as well. He pulled the lever for a second time. No! What is this? Why? The Digiroot should be 9! It has to be 9! Then why? Why is it an opening? Ace's fury and confusion had overridden all other thoughts. He had set down the revolver. He set it down? Okay. It was just below the red. Seven chose that moment to act. He moved far faster than a man of his bulk should have been able to, and he launched that bulk straight at Ace. Oh, nice. That sounded like a good, solid punch. It was over before they knew it. In the blink of an eye, Ace was on the floor. He rolled onto the side, groaning in pain. Lotus ran straight for Junpei. She darted around behind him and stuck her head out, making sure to keep Junpei between herself and Ace. Phew! That was close. Too close. Thank you, Seven. Don't mention it. Seven stood over Ace, his breathing slow and heavy. Just one punch ain't enough for this piece of shit. After what he did 9 years ago, I'd have ripped him to pieces. But if a suspect can't talk, they ain't much good. Once he's locked up in his cell, we're gonna have a little chat. 9 years ago. That you must be... Yeah, you finally figure it out. Dumbass. Ace planted his hands on the floor and shook his head. Junpei walked toward him. He stopped and looked down at Ace with pity on his face. Ace, you killed Kubuta and Nijisaki Musashito, didn't you? Wait, Nijisaki? He peered at Junpei, genuinely confused. Oh, right, you don't know yet. Alright, we'll just go through them in order then. Let's start off with Kubuta. You talked to Kubuta and managed to convince him to go into door 5 alone. You killed him without making it look like you killed him. The way I figure it, you had 4 motives. Which he did have 4 motives. 1 was in the Notary game the number 9 was dangerous. Whoever had a number 9 bracelet could join whatever team they wanted. You could add 9 to any number and the Digiroot wouldn't change. And just like that, it doesn't matter. In other words, number 9 could do whatever they wanted. Ace had wanted to remove that threat as soon as possible. 2. Ace also wanted to have the number 9 bracelet himself, so he can make use of its power. In fact, he later made use of it in the murder of Nijisaki. 3. Even if his number had been different, Kubuta presented a problem for Ace. Kubuta had known Ace's past. He knew that what happened 9 years before. Before he told anyone, Ace had to silence him. 4. But last, perhaps most disturbingly, Ace had used Kubuta as a test. He wanted to know how serious this Notary game was. Was it truly life or death, or simply a harmless prank? He convinced Kubuta to break the rules so that he might see what happened. That was why he killed Kubuta, and he was only the first. Next was Nijisaki. While everyone was off looking for the missing part for the red, you ran into him near the big hospital room. However, because of that illness, whatever, disorder, You didn't realize he was Nijisaki. Chiefly because when you met him, he was dressed like Snake. That was why you thought Nijisaki was Snake. No, that's not. That was Nijisaki? Why? How did... I'll get to that. Anyway, you thought that he was Snake. Snake was one of the kids in your experiment 9 years ago. You remembered him because he was the blind kid. But his presence made you think, Snake was one of my subjects 9 years ago. He probably hates me. But if that's true, why isn't he saying anything? Is he keeping quiet because he can't see? Or perhaps he's working with Zero to get revenge on me? Whatever the reason, anyone who knows my past is a threat. Before he tries anything, I need to get rid of him. That was when you decided you had to kill him. The murder weapon was Kubuta's bracelet. You just waved it over to Red, verified your own number, and then grabbed Nijisaki's arm and forced it over the scanner panel. And then when the door opened, you kicked him in. 9 seconds later, the door closed. And then 81 seconds passed, and poor Nijisaki was dead. You meant to say Snake is still alive? Sorry to disappoint you, but I'm good as new. Thank you for killing the wrong man, but I can't say I like knowing that you wanted me dead. Although, to be honest, even if you hadn't tried to kill me, I would still hate you very much. Well, I wouldn't blame you. Ace's self-derision was frustrating, but Junpei kept his emotions in check and continued. Last but not least, let's talk about Musashito's death. When Clover and I were investigating the chart room, you came over to talk to me. Do you remember what you said? A pocket watch. May I take a look at it? I handed you the pocket watch and you left the room. Ace had been in charge of the Notary Project. He would, of course, have known the solution to every puzzle. It followed, then, that he knew how to get out of the wheelhouse. All Ace had to do was place the pocket watch in the indentation of the room to unlock it. The door opened, he was able to enter the captain's quarters. Musashito was there. Next to him was an axe that fairly begged Ace to kill Musashito with it. He picked up the axe and swung it, burying the blade deep in the other man's chest. Oof, there's a noise right there. One blow was all it took. Afterwards, Ace returned to the chart room as though nothing had happened. There was something I wanted to speak with you about, Junpei. Could you come with me for a moment? With no reason not to, Junpei had followed Ace to the wheelhouse. When they reached the wheelhouse, Ace slipped his hand into Junpei's vest and pulled out a piece of paper that Junpei used to cheat during the vote. But it wasn't a piece of paper that Ace was after. His true purpose was had been to slip the pocket watch into Junpei's pocket. It wasn't a very good plan. It had far too many flaws, and the wrong word of discovery could easily have toppled it. What had made Ace so desperate? That was the only thing Junpei hadn't been able to figure out. Musashito's murder is the only one I don't understand. You obviously did it, but why? Because of this. Slowly, Ace reached down and pulled something out of his pocket. It was a folded piece of paper. Junpei took it and opened it. This is what it said. Number 1, there are 2 ways you might survive this ordeal. The first is to win a notary game, and 2 is for you to confess your sins of 9 years past. I have prepared a camera in the captain's quarters. The images captured by a camera will be streamed through a satellite and distributed across the world. Simply look into the camera and repent. Once you have confessed everything, I will release you from this ship. To make your confession more credible, I have left you a witness in the captain's quarters. Perhaps he will confess with you. Decision is yours. Do as you please. 0. When I awoke in that room on D-Deck, I found that in my pocket. That was why I chose door 1 when we voted. If I went through that door, I knew I could get to the captain's quarters. As you said, I knew how to enter the wheelhouse. My plan was to find the pocket watch before anyone else. If I could, then my alibi would be set. At least, that was my plan. Unfortunately for me, you got to it first. That sleight of hand was the best I could manage on short notice. You meant to kill him from the beginning, then. Musashito, I mean. I only knew he was a witness after I reached the captain's quarters. I asked him, and he answered. He seemed groggy. Perhaps he had only just awoken from sedation. I suppose Nijisaki was in much the same state. He seemed confused and disoriented when I encountered him. But yes, you're correct. I intended to kill him from the beginning, even though I didn't know who he was. I proceeded to the captain's quarters in order to remove this so-called witness. Ace had confessed everything. What energy had left him with the truth, and he sagged on his knees. Although he had confessed, his sins were not forgiven. Junpei felt revulsion from the pathetic man on the floor near his feet, but among the revulsion was a hint of pity. After all, Ace had not been the only person who'd murdered those 3 men. Junpei spoke quietly. Ace, you figured it out, haven't you? You were being manipulated. Yes, so it would seem. I was little more than a puppet in many ways. Everywhere I went, everything was already prepared. The Reds in large hospital room were dismantled. Nijisaki was dressed like a snake. There was an axe in the captain's quarters. Musashito was delirious from an anesthetic, so he couldn't fight back. Nijisaki as well. In retrospect, I couldn't understand how I could have fallen into such a simple trap. Quite ashamed of myself. But yes, this was a trap. It was Zero's trap, and I fell for a hook, line, and sinker. I did everything he wanted me to do. Yeah. By manipulating Ace, Zero was able to kill 3 people and keep the blood off his own hands. All of this was revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why the cylinder game happened. Am I right, Santa? Junpei looked over at Santa. As Junpei spoke, he stood up, his legs still shaky. Huh? What the hell are you talking about? I don't know any... Ain't no point trying to play dumb anymore, Santa. Actually, I guess I should call you Oi Kurashiki, huh? Seven's face was sad as he spoke. My memory came back, kid. You're Oi Kurashiki, no doubt about it. Never thought I'd be back in this room talking to you. But hey, I guess this is all part of your plan, right? After all, the person who planned this Nori game this time around was Zero. And Zero's you. Looks like you really do have your memories back, huh? Santa's smile was sarcastic and something else. Well, I guess there's no point hiding it then, huh? Yeah, you got me. I'm Oi Kurashiki. I was one of the kids in the Notary game 9 years ago. I made it out. So did Snake over there. But there's one thing. Now, I guess there's 2 things you got wrong. 1, I ain't Zero. What? Wait, what? Sure, I was helping Zero out, but I'm really more of a assistant. Like a secretary. But assistant's only an assistant. I didn't come up with all this. All I did was follow Zero's orders. Then, if you're not Zero, then who is? Calm down there, Junpei. Didn't I say 2 things? You made one more mistake. Junpei, you just said all this was a revenge for what happened 9 years ago. That's why this Notary game happened. But that's not it. Revenge isn't the only purpose. There's another reason you guys were playing this Notary game. What? To save someone. Save someone? Right. You were brought here to help my sister. To save Akane. What the hell are you talking about? Akane Kurashiki died 9 years ago in this room. I was there. I saw... Suddenly, Seven froze. His eyes went as wide as dinner plates. Okay. And he spun around toward June. Junpei followed his gaze. She was gone. Where June had been, there was nothing. What the hell? Where is she? Where's Akane Kurashiki? Seven began to mumble to himself, a strange series of words strung together as if his mind wasn't functioning properly. His face was twisted with effort and as though he was struggling with something he couldn't see. He gritted his teeth and pressed his hands against the sides of his head. Ugh! My head! My head! It feels like it's gonna pop! He groaned and fell to his knees. Seven! What the hell's going on? I don't know. I swear to God, my head feels like it's about to explode. From somewhere far away, they all heard a deep, heavy noise. It sounded like a tremendous wheel slowly beginning to turn. Santa seemed to have entered an almost trance-like state. His words were calm and measured. What was the Notary Project? I'm sure you know already, but I'll tell you one more time. It was a project designed to test a particular phenomenon. And what was that phenomenon? It was for two organisms to communicate with one another in the absence of physical contact. The morphogenetic field theory. Could human beings use these invisible fields to exchange information? That was what this experiment was conducted to determine. There are two separate locations. One was a gigantic, and the other was a building in Nevada called Building Q. Building Q had been built to replicate exactly the interior of the gigantic. The 9 children trapped in Building Q were faced with numerous puzzles, copies of identical ones of the gigantic. They were told to send their answers into the morphic field set and transmit them to their brothers and sisters on gigantic. The transmitters were put in Building Q, and the receivers were put on gigantic. Each sibling pair was supposed to be split up, but there was a mistake. Akane was a transmitter. She should have been in Building Q. However, for some odd reason, she was placed on gigantic, with the receivers like me. Perhaps she was mistaken for someone who was supposed to be in Group A. Whatever the case, Akane ended up on gigantic. I think I've told you enough. You get it, don't you? I'm pretty sure you know where this is going, Junpei. What is going? Don't play dumb. You know things you shouldn't. Things you couldn't. How did you know Ace has that thing? How did you know why Ace wanted to kill Kabuta and how Ninja Sake was killed? Were you surprised when you found out Ace was Hungao? And what about the coffin Snake was trapped in? How the hell did you open it? Well, that's... The answer to that seems easy. He knew because I knew. Junpei was receiving information I sent through him through the morphic field set. Game, are you breaking a fourth wall? Like... Oh my god. It's simple, really. How do I know the alternate futures, then? Imagine a river that splits in two like an upside-down Y. The river flows from the top to the bottom, from a single stream to 2 branches. Only flows in one direction. It can never flow backward. Information is the same way. It moves from the past to the future, but never flows backward. That's why people at the river source in the past will never know about those downstream in the future. But the people downstream will never know about one another. Information can only flow along the path of the river. But I am different. I can manipulate the morphic field set to pluck knowledge from the future. I know what happens on either fork of the river, even though the people on either fork know nothing about one another. Now, who am I? I am I, the 9th letter of the alphabet. But I am also 0. No, that's not true. I'm not really 0. Not yet. Perhaps you can say that I am less than 0. 0 is my future. In 9 years, I will be 0. Where did she go? And I am super confused at the moment. Are they saying that I, like the player, is the transmitter? And I'm 0 or what? June. No, Akane. Where did you go? Santa! Wise Clover's... Oh, shit. Freeze. Oh, God. Santa's got the gun. Or... I am 9. And we... Didn't we kind of say that June's bracelet wasn't really a 9, or wasn't really a 6, but it could be a 9? Oh, this is kind of freaky at the moment. Unless I'm thinking of it totally wrong, but I don't know, this is kind of insane. In any case, guys, I'm going to go ahead and stop the video here. In the next episode, we'll continue on and see what the hell's going on. It seems like now Santa has the gun. And what is he going to do with it? Well, maybe we'll figure out in the next episode. So, as usual, thank you all for watching, and I'll see you guys next time for Let's Play 999. I'll see you guys later.